trees have... just scattered. Just peeping. I know. Well, it's trying to... Well, the thing is, you have to think that it's going to be inaccurate. Because it's trying to... That sign right there is trying to... What? What? Quite literally see.
When did your house burn down? I was wondering if you could scan the ground. It does anything. Person. So you tell them to keep it running, you will. But
Keep it running with each new space. So when we get into a space, turn it on. When we leave the space, turn it off.
Okay.
I was wondering, like, because you're talking about the area, like towards the ground, or does he just need to keep it up?
Belly level is perfect.
Yeah.
I normally say especially,
down.
yeah, you don't want to keep it down, belly level, like keep it pointing straight out.
Okay.
But again, if somebody's going to their car, you want to point it down or just grab that top handle.
Okay.
So
like if he sees the shape thing, like he was thinking, he was probably trying to make out the shape of the sign, right? Something
Right.
like that. Okay. All right.
any numbers coming out of yours, Chris?
3.3.
I'll take a 3.3. So that's your new baseline. Don't give me anything below that.
Okay.
So we're gonna keep it. He's already gotten a 56.
Okay.
So
Good.
like,
Yep.
but then when he asked his daughter if she was okay, it went away.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
So you have to kind of be in the moment as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I try to keep it towards light, or does it not really
Doesn't
matter?
matter.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It'll pick things up. If it's dark in an area, as long as it's somewhat close to you, it'll pick up a shape. Just also keep in mind, it will pick up your shadow. So if it sees your shadow on the ground, that's not a person lying down. It's an absence of light.
Yeah.
So
I have a question, like, and it's probably everybody asks or it's dumb. Like, the camera you said that, like, if someone came with us, his camera wouldn't pick up if someone was with us. Like, the camera that the other person had, like, the thermo, whatever.
The thermal?
Like, those, remember when you were saying, like...
So they all see things in a much different filter.
Oh,
so
okay.
his is picking up depth perception.
Right.
The other one is obviously picking up heat signatures, and then
Okay.
the other one is using light that we just can't see. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's picking up things from a realm that we can't see.
Right.
Which is where the orbs mainly come into play with that particular camera.
Yeah. I was
So,
just wondering
but
how
again,
you do.
orbs, I debunk a lot of them as
Oh,
insects.
because of... Yeah.
Because insects will
Really?
show up as a bright thing of
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
So orbs to me need to be intelligent. They need to appear in frame and disappear in frame. Like I don't want something coming from outside the frame. So if it comes in from outside or it leaves the frame, it's automatically like I'm not even gonna count it. I want it to appear in frame and then disappear in frame.
Like, when it does that, what is that?
So you probably just don't have enough juice coming through it. So I'm gonna take it from you for just a second. I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit more. All right, Jen, let me see that word list.
just stay near
It's
me.
like right here. I don't know if it's always trying to say
Hold on. Be sure to like put it out in front of you and stay.
Right. But I'm trying to listen to it.
I know. Well,
Okay.
remember this can be on recording.
Oh, okay. What happened to your husband?
I can't get anything on who is pallbearer, and then where you buried, and I got 20.
The date.
Oh, the date. There was the date. 20. Where you buried was 3rd. How did you die was fire.
It's not always going to be a direct answer to your direct question.
Right.
So again, you have clues in there. They're just not relevant to the questions you asked. So let's put all this together. So let's come over back upstairs to the corner. Actually, to be out of the way of the chart.
We support like the sweepers. No, he don't want to get There's nobody. I know he doesn't want to get like. So whenever he's reading it, he doesn't. It's on. It's on. Just don't want.
Anything else, Grace? I already wrote down everything you said. Hold it like a suitcase and just shoot it straight down the alley. It doesn't need to necessarily be on me, so if you want to hold it in your left hand down at your side, you get a nice clear shot of the alley. Absolutely.
We provide health care as soon as we.
I like that one. That's actually going to make sense here in a minute. So, have you been down here before?
That's why I wrote it down. I thought that
Okay.
was interesting.
So, every tour tells the same story. Here's how it goes. A doctor who's down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Those of you listening in on your spirit boxes, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it here all the time, just so you know. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after her cash. He's going to start his practice down here. So on his way into town, somebody had set him up to be robbed and killed, his coachman. So somebody was walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph for just a minute because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters RI all the time from our red spirit boxes, so I bought Lucas's device. I wanted to make sure we were getting the specific letters. And I will tell you that I've had that thing for about 6 months, and about 4 or 5 times we've already had it as I'm talking about Ralph. So you're looking literally for the initials RI in that order. So that's what's going on with your device. But anyway, Ralph tells this guy, he tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. He's got a gunman inside. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can stay there with some friends of mine. They'll rent you a room and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer, and Ralph and the doctor became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's cash. So Amanda gets wind of this. She's coming down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours is a doctor. That's just the way it goes. We're going to talk more about the whistles later on. Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the way the hierarchy works at Charleston. He gets better seats based on his salary. Anyway, they go see Richard III one night, and they're arguing over the new actress on their way home because they couldn't sit next to each other to discuss the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. So they start arguing. Then, Lucas, you just scared the hell out of about 3 people. So anyway, the argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancee, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and they go their separate ways. You already know that Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. So, doctor saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's gonna die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel. However, Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die, but he drops to the ground, and his friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, not 85. So that's where I told you I was looking for 86. He also refused medical treatment when he was in that 10-day period after he got shot. And you have to remember, he refused medical treatment because he's a doctor. You have to remember, it's 1786, and gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what they are now. He's probably just trying to bleed out the lead poisoning himself. So every ghost tour will tell you, listen how quiet it is, listen for the whistles, and they'll tell you to do it on your own. We have 3 cameras running right now, plus my voice recorder. If you're going to get a whistle, it's going to be on one of those 4 devices. It's always this quiet down here, unless there's many tour groups down here, which I'm surprised we have the whole alley to ourselves right now. So even on a busy Saturday afternoon, it sounds just like this, except when those air conditioners are running. So people will tell you to listen for those whistles. There's other accounts that people said that they heard gunshots down here from the dueling. I have no accounts of gunshots on any of my recordings ever of coming down here for the past 4 years. So I always, by the way, if you're going to try this on your own and you're going to like come down and look for the whistles for yourself and using your voice recorders from your phone, just keep in mind every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. We all do it. I do it every single morning when I'm going back to my car. We're going to let this group pass through, and then we'll finish up with this location. So maybe watch out, kind of whole group coming in behind you. Good evening.
Evening.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Not as hard as it has been, right?
No,
Hold
boy.
on a little
The last
bit.
couple of nights were brutal.
Yeah. Ever since I got kicked out of here, I always throw a whistle. Let me show you how I got kicked out of here. And for your ears up, I want to know how they got in trouble. So this alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was a wall halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So I should say Charlestown. So it was called Cow Alley back then. That means the bricks on the other side, down by Queen Street, are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. When I first started doing this, I used to take my groups all the way through here and show off the brick with the handprint in it. It's right there in the middle of the alley, so right towards the end. But I will tell you that it was just a matter of history to show how far we've come away from slavery, not as a piece for paranormal evidence. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. However, November 26th, 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around one brick, waiting for something to happen with the devices that I handed out. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen, first off, but secondly, it's right outside the window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't know I was out of bounds for tours. I was new at this. So the new owner came out and he's screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. She was on tour that night. She's about 13 years old. So she thought it was great, but we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving simply because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. I am never working another Thanksgiving in my life. Next day is November 28th. The date's irrelevant. I'm getting to it. I get a hold of my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. And he's laughing. He's like, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. That's as far as we're allowed to go. Or you got to reroute the group. So I told my group that night, we're going to reroute, but I never had anything happen at the next location. And I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're talking pirates next, in case you didn't pick up on that. So before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So we have a lot of names in this group tonight that are actually relevant to our spaces. So Lucas, Bonnie, you guys are getting the point. But I was like, all right, maybe we have something going on. We go over to where we're going to be going, and I told a little bit about piracy that I did know because I didn't have much time to research. And somebody else hears the number 300 come out of their spirit box. I don't know what that means. I researched it the next morning for them. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So you guys were kind of like giving me the hit, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I was pissed off. Let me tell you why. As a person with a master's degree in creative writing, I still need facts and data for what we're doing out here. So I like to have tangible evidence to make sure what I'm doing is legit. So I always take off because pirate stories are based off of pirate lore that were written 100 years after the fact of when they actually occurred, excuse us. So I was kind of a little upset. However, I've read more books on piracy than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure what we're going to be doing at the next location is legit. So it is a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a lot going on or nothing. That's just the way the space goes. We're also going to be looking for the evidence from this particular location. So kind of keep that in mind. Things will pop up that you don't know that I've withheld already. Secondly, you're going to learn a lot about pirates that you never knew before. That's the great thing about that particular location. So anything that I need to know, I've seen you two whispering, anything going on with your device that I need to know about?
Oh, I just,
That's what I'm supposed to ask.
the way you buy meat came through
right in the middle of the walls.
Yeah, and then I just got we're injured, but I didn't catch them.
You know, we're literally halfway point between where the wall was on the water to where it ended up on Main Street. Literally halfway.
Cool.
So Central Life LA and the way you buy meat. Remind me to write those down. You were on mute. Did you hear anything, or were you focused on me? Focused on me. Got it. Grace, what about you?
I didn't.
Okay. Any other words on there, Jenna?
Nothing.
We didn't get the word cow.
Ow.
Cow. This used to be called Cow Alley. It normally shows up on your device.
Record, chlorine, number, happily, ask her, and seek.
What was the last one?
Seek.
Seek. Yeah, a bunch of vague stuff, huh? Yeah, not a whole lot going on there. For those of you with video cameras, if you want to keep them running until we get to the next phase, it's completely up to you. Again, we're only going up and around the corner. We'll just stay out of the way of the other tours. Spirit boxes definitely keep a listen in. But you guys ready to learn about some rated R pirates? Anybody got my bad dad joke? Good. Wow. You guys are like super attentive and then don't laugh at my jokes. I don't get it. So,
I never knew it was a pirate named after me.
it's not spelled the same, so don't switch your own
How
way.
did you tell how you spelled my name?
You didn't have to. I seen it on the list. I already knew your name before you showed up. I was excited when I seen both of you in the
How many
same show.
bodies did you have? That's like on a tour.
My mother-in-law's name is Bonnie.
Really? See?
All right, let's do some rated R pirates, everybody. We got this. Feels like this guy's weird.
Keep it on. Keep it here like this.
I mean, when he filters through the stuff, I don't want him to see bodies or whatever. Make it so the video can. Video. Try to get it on video, if anything.
Lower the volume.
You can talk to it, just saying. Just like. Maybe you could say repeat yourself or.
Repeat yourself.
You just gotta keep on. What are you saying?
What are you saying?
You just gotta. You gotta ask like. You have to think that something's here, so you're trying to get something out of them. Who am I speaking to? Well, this, I don't know what this. You gotta try to ask you questions before we get here, so then you can tell them stuff.
Were you hurt here?
Why would you not hope it were? I mean, am I gonna record people? I'm trying to get her.
All right, all you weirdos. What do we got? Lizzie,
I
what's up?
heard eyes and sun.
Eyes and sun. You had the little boy I adored, kind of like that. Bonnie, anything?
I saw. It's some. I can't hear what it's saying.
It's okay.
Sorry.
You need to maybe switch up with somebody else in your party?
No,
So
it's
I
fine.
can-
Just tell him like how to hold it. Like I think there's whenever if we're walking, that you guys are walking in front of us, does he still hold it like that?
Yeah, always hold it that way.
Always hold it that way. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, this is a place where other tours are going to pass by, so just don't record them. Not a big
Yeah.
deal. All right, next. Any letters coming out of you, Lucas, that I need to know about? I'm looking for AB or MR. Nothing? Grace, anything? Gets me excited, everybody. Just so you guys know, like that's that fist pump in the air. Like, So we are going to be discussing the gentleman who created the flag for the Jolly Roger. We get the name Roger here all over. So I'm pretty excited about that. So where the hell are we? Every tour that comes through here talks about the same building. By the way, video cameras, if you want to record, by all means do so. Rob's already on it. I'm sorry, Jenna, any word or two that showed up that they need to know about?
Factors and
Wild. Yeah, too big for me. All right, so we're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses, just so you guys know. Those are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts, if you're not familiar with those because you're not from here, they're turnbuckles. They go all the way through the roof, and in the event we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, which we have not, then you can turn those turnbuckles. It tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, but it just doesn't work, Chris. I'm sorry. I know you're nodding like, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's bullshit. It doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town in the shape of lion heads and pineapples. It's just part of the Charleston charm. Like, it's not really a thing. Even the apartment building behind the powder magazine, you see those peach bricks? Those are earthquake bolts. So that's what those actually are. We still put them in buildings, believe it or not. They just don't work. Californians, when they're on the tour, they laugh their asses off at me every time I bring them up. But they're part of the reason why we're here. So those earthquake bolts are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in any building. Reason why? That's the oldest government building in South Carolina. So it was finished in 1713. I would have been more excited about your 13 if it was over here, just so you know. That building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life, which is why we're here. It's what I call a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows except for Jenna. They use that little Boo Bear buddy with the K2 meter inside and talks to you. They do that with a child ghost because it's something the child would recognize as a toy. It's the same principle at this building, so kind of keep that in mind. This is just something Anne Bonny would recognize from her time era that she was here. So no yawning, Grace, I see it coming. So anyway, I'm going to call it yawns all night long. But let's kind of get into this. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. It was like, yeah, it does. But anyway, our history begins right in the middle of it. Try to follow me on this one, guys. There's a lot of twists, and I will slow down on the twist. Remember, it's a female pirate. So kind of keep that in the back of your brain. And I will keep it PG-13, even though we have a bunch of 16-year-olds in the group. Because again, it's a female pirate. Dads are getting the point. Anyway, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Okay. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was that wife that she booted them out of the country to come here when there's no airplanes? It was by boat, fellas. So be kind to your ladies. They will kick you out of the country up to Canada. So, I only got one chuck on us from Jenna. But anyway, yeah, I do have jokes all night long, I promise. But anyway, they land in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation up there. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, in case you're unfamiliar with South Carolina. And Mom dies pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down to Charlestown to be able to sell things from that plantation to keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, no number's ever going to be exact. They say that she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. I can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly show up from 3 different people without the other 2 people knowing what was going on. Keep that in mind. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. And I said first guy she falls in love with because simply she's going to fall in love with a lot of them. And we're going to cover them all because that's what makes the story so damn interesting. So that's why I'm going to keep it PG-13. First guy is James Bonny. See where I'm getting excited about some of the names that showed up here tonight, James? So I've got a lot of you guys. James Bonny is a filthy pirate and Dad does not approve. So they ran away to Jamaica, they got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name comes from. However, when they get down there, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. He's a coward. So a few more years go by and she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys were wondering who this guy was. He has his own crew. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of the crew because she wants to be a pirate, but you can't put a female on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Keep it family friendly with the teenagers in the room. What's that?
It's not just bad luck.
It is bad luck. So I just make sure you guys are all paying attention, because this can be a long one. She's like, oh, kudos, high five. But anyway, it is bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you could be part of the crew. She's okay with this. The reason why, Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. So kind of keep that in mind. but she's going to be a female in his quarters. Most of us are adults here. We can understand what that's all going to mean. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a female. And he drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show. So, go have the baby here, come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby in Cuba, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to that child. But she's also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. He's pretty pissed off. And while she was gone giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's gonna go flirting with that pirate crew because that's who Anne is. We're on guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Chris, you're like so intrigued right now, I can't even take it, man. You're intense.
Did you say MR?
MR. Just as I was about to talk about MR. So, guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a male, to be a pirate on the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, trying to be pirates. Her name, Mary Reed, which is why he's looking for MR coming up out of there, right as I'm about to bring it up. Can't make this stuff up, guys, I promise. But anyway, Mary Reed went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Anne and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure. It's too long ago. But anyway, they become friends, but the British find out where they are. And they send a fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks, probably because they didn't know how to use cannons yet. Obviously, 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up on your spirit box's communication devices a lot. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender. He doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last they shouted, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. And she has 4 kids. Dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. What happens to Mary Reed? 5 months later, she dies in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. You can use your imagination, even though the books will tell you that it was normally something like fever, something very simple. I say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? We're talking pirates. So here's the things I left out of here. I'm not going to assign questions like what we did before. We can poke the bear a little bit here to try to get some answers. So I know you were asking about that because this is not a prominent English woman. We do not need to tiptoe around her. What the heck this person's doing, blinding me to death. So here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose. That's the father and the mistress. I left out the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. So that's an Irish city. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So that one I left out on purpose. And the color of her hair, if you need something simple, which is red. I'm going to give you that answer. Everything else is fair game. I can't prove what happened to the child. So if you're going to go after that question, I just can't prove whatever you're hearing is a legitimate answer. So we are going to spread out on this location. EMF detectors. Do not get excited with readings in the front half of this, simply because we have 2 electrical poles and the parking meters on the other side. Again, want to keep those cameras running through the entire duration of this location. Lucas, this wall behind me is not your friend. All those leaves are in front of another leaf, which means you're going to get just a bunch of gobbledygook and somebody waving at you. That's not a real person. It's a bunch of leaves. Don't get excited. But everybody else, let's spread out. Let's get this done. Have we heard anything before we spread out? Chicken. She's calling you a chicken. Did you hear that? Maybe. Anybody else hear anything? What do you got?
Right when we got here, simply incredible prices. I just thought was a weird way to say that.
Yeah.
And then Alive and Well, Raven, and St. Louis.
The St. Louis piece could be interesting. I want to see what else pops up with that. So, again, I'm not going to reveal anything until we get something else to kind of verify what's going on with that one. That's an interesting piece. But Raven, that's a weird word to hear on the radio.
I agree.
Wow, you're getting a lot of weird stuff. What radio stations are you listening to?
Whatever comes up.
All right, guys, let's spread out. I'm going to start bouncing around with all of you, but I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and get started.
Parents' name. Maybe ask her how many people has she dated.
It's listening to the radio station as well.
So start with.
How many people have you dated?
Recording, remember?
Can't understand any of it.
like you know, we don't want to touch it, but I mean, there's volume there. Oh, hold on.
Just ask, what color's your hair? Watch.
I just heard a girl. Hold on. Let's switch for a second. What color is your hair? I got salt.
How did you hear that? You better take it.
Can you bring out your phone? Here we go. Just try.
What happened to your parents or something? Or what was your parents' names?
100. Salt 100. Oh. Date. How many? How many? What did Anne Bonny have in Cuba? Was it a boy or a girl? A boy or girl? Huh? What color is Anne Bonny's hair? What color? What color hair did Anne Bonny have? Anne Bonny have? What was her parents' names? What was her parents' names? What were their initials? That's great. I asked for initials, and then I just hear a bunch of dad.
I can't believe you did a terrible video.
That was
None of it I can.
more questions.
What happened?
You ain't no. That's no questions.
What was the child's name?
What was your child's name?
So you sleep because he does night shifts. How long do you typically do?
5 to 6 hours. I wake up by 10. My kids are older. Yeah, and they live with her.
Where is she? Where are you, Bonnie?
Later on, I'll show you a picture of this. So they're all different ones. They're all different ages and crazy. So, alright, let me follow up with everybody else going on here. Alright, you guys. What do we got?
I've heard two things.
What do you got?
He switched.
Salt.
He hasn't.
Down on the beach, and I can't prove any of it. So here's a couple of little things that I'm excited about. We did get the phrase redhead. I was kind of pretty excited about that because obviously we didn't get just the word red. I don't know if we were asking if it was, what her hair color was. But we did get the word redhead. The number 7, well 13 was heard, right there. 13, the building was finished in 1713, so that's an easy one. The number 7 will show up in one of 3 ways at this location, so I usually wait for a secondary clue. If it shows up in double, that's Dr. Ladd's birthday. He was born on July 7th, so it's 7-7. So if we get just a single 7, and we had the name John, did we not? Yeah. So John Calhoun, your 7th vice president, is buried on the other side of that wall. So again, we might actually, if I get a 3rd clue, that'll kind of verify that. But the 2 usually, the double 7s usually clarifies for the doctor immediately. And then last but not least, this building served in 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. So if it gives us one of the wars, obviously with the number 7, then I get excited about that. But again, right now, the name John being so common, I still want something as a first clue to really verify that it was something coming from John Kathleen himself, simply because we don't normally hear much from him until it's the month of March, because he's born in March and died in March. So take that for what it is. Let's cover the very quick answers of the Anne Bonnie questions, and then I will tell you about our last space that we're going to. So, Anne Bonnie, one of the few pictures you can find of this young lady where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bear breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. Because remember, she's dressed in pirate men's clothes. So again, bearing a breast shows a guy that he was killed by a woman. And she thought that was a big deal. Told you she was a badass even back then. And I do get a lot of teenage boys on this tour, and I don't need angry moms going home. So that's why I show this particular picture. The names of her parents: William Cormack, Mary Brennan. This is not another subliminal trick with the name Mary. We just happen to have two in the same story. So Mary Reed from the ship, Mary Brennan was actually a servant for the Cormack family. So that's a whole other 30-minute scandal that we're just not going to cover. I'm just showing off how much research they do on this stuff for you guys. I also show you what Calico Jack looked like, simply because everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of. And it is absolutely hysterical once you see it, why they named him that. Calico Jack was named that because of the jacket that he wore. It came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, and textiles were important to him. Calico Jack basically means fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I do not expect the word Kingston to pop up on most of your spirit boxes, except for the one that Ethan has right now. For Kingston, I like it. It's not spelling out the full word king yet, but I'll be excited when it does. The word king would actually suffice in this location for most of your spirit boxes, simply because we're not going to hear the word Kingston on our normal radio station. But the word king would actually make sense, not Kingston. So it's like, what color is the big red barn? Blood. So, kind of gives you the same mentality. Let's go ahead and put that on mute for just a minute, just until we start walking again. So part of the reason why I give you guys that huge warning at the top of the tours is this part of the reason is this particular space. About a year and a half ago in the month of September, I brought my group to the back just like I normally do. Same size group, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. The kid next to me starts to pass out. Like he turns white as a ghost and he's literally dropping on me. So I mean, when I say kid, by the way, he's like 21, 22 years old. So I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. We brought him to right where James is sitting over there. I got him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story of Anne Bonnie that I've already told you. Okay, it's important to know that they don't know anything about Anne Bonnie yet. So this used to be the last stop, and I would spread everybody out and say, go have fun with your, tell like 3 different stories here, spread out, have fun. However, those two gentlemen pulled me aside and say, Nick, we got to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females, just like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story. So it makes sense, but it's still unexplainable. These are the things that I see of why I give those warnings at the top of my night every single night and why we started Big John's. So I do get psychics and mediums on this tour a lot, and most of them do not make it past the Pinckney Mansion site with the type of EMF that we got earlier with that 56 and above. So again, and I definitely make sure if I know that they're a psychic or a medium, they are not getting a spirit box that goes in their ear. That's a different type of messaging, and they're already getting their own messaging. They're going to pass out for sure. They're not going to be able to handle it. So normally that's why I have you guys show up early so I can kind of get a feel for everybody and make sure like somebody will slip me like a, hey, I am a psychic. If you want to use any of my knowledge about some of these spaces when I get there, I'm like, okay, cool, you're not getting a spirit box. You're going to get an EMF reader to make sure we're all safe. And they're good with that. So again, I just like to point out why I actually tell that huge warning. Here's what we're doing next. This is going to be super fun for some of you. So I'm going to actually take, I usually watch you guys through these, and I've only been doing this method for a couple of months, but normally what I do is I take the best person with a spirit box, and we're going to be blindfolding them and putting a noise-canceling headphones over top of their ears. Have you guys seen this on your TV shows? They call it the Estes method. Some of you are nodding yes, some of you are saying no. And Jenna's like, please don't pick me. So I'm actually going to take Mimi, because she's been giving us the most out of her particular spirit box. So she's going to be blindfolded. She's also not going to know the history of the space. And then we're going to come back and interview her as she cannot hear what I'm asking. And she's just going to tell us what she hears out of her spirit box. So for those of you that are waiting for something to happen, this could be your chance. This works on a 30% ratio basis. We're going to pick a secondary person. And a secondary person, because they haven't had much activity out of their device, is going to be helping out. So, Bonnie, you're going to be using the secondary piece, and I've literally only been doing this part for a few weeks. What this is going to do is we're going to put a VR helmet on her, and she's going to have my phone in there using a new app called, and it's going to use AI around us and generate images that have never been generated before using the magnetometer of my phone. So just like your EMF readers that you guys are using out here, anytime that there's any kind of fluctuation with stuff, you're going to see an image and you're going to describe what that image is, and hopefully it's going to match up to what Mimi's telling us. You guys are all, with your data that you're going to get back, you're going to get back all of the image that Bonnie is going to see in real time, plus we're going to review them before we part ways. So that is actually about a 40% ratio of those images that she's going to see are going to be relevant to that particular space. Hey, yes, ma'am.
They won't hear like my reaction, will they? Like,
Who's they?
What I'm saying on the video. Like what I'm saying as a reaction when if I see something. Like,
When you
it's
get
like
in there,
a
you're going to
sheep
tell
fest.
us what you're seeing.
But like I may say bad words and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
We're all big
good?
kids here.
Okay,
We got
okay. Don't judge me if it's something, you know.
We're good. We got this. Trust me, you're going to be just fine. So the two of you are basically, when we get to the next spot, you're going to sit on a bench. I'm going to tell the rest of the people the history of the space, so they're all in on what's supposed to happen. But when we come back, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks of what to expect, and then we're going to go through this motion and see what we can actually get out of it. So I mean, you're like, oh my God, what is happening right now? She's like, why was I so good at this?
Years. No, you've been great. You're like, yeah.
So even for the spectators, this is going to work out either really well or really bad, in a sense that nothing's going to happen, and they're, you know, she's going to be telling us a lot of silly answers that don't make any sense whatsoever, and we're all going to laugh our asses off. So when I say something like it's going to be really bad, again, it's a matter of nothing happens. It's just what you told us was too silly to make any sense to the ghost that we're trying to hunt down. So no worries about that. So again, we're all there. We're going to be circled around you. We're not leaving you guys blindfolded and running away.
Around the street.
But it's weird. I swear I don't pick women for this blindfold in the middle of a dark park, guys. I promise you.
It's a weird thing
It
you
just
do.
happened to happen that way. So, are you guys ready to go blindfold some people and see what happens out of this? Smells like, man,
You'll
this
be
guy's really
good.
weird. He's screwing
Got
me
this.
all
You
the
got
time.
this.
Bonnie and me.
Yes.
Spirit box is up. Let's get those things
Instead
up and
of
running.
running
So,
and
Ethan,
fine.
it's all about you. Let's
So,
go to
I
it.
gotta hold
Let's
this
go
too.
way. Yeah, he'll be with you.
Yeah, let me stand next to Mom just in case if I get something.
Rock in my shoe. It's got a mistake.
What'd she say? Really?
What do you think, Bonnie? You ready for this?
I'm totally excited.
I thought I would try to cheer you up a little bit since your spirit
I
box
felt like a
didn't work out so
loser. I'm like,
It's not an easy task to do.
I hate to prove yourself.
It hurts about this book. Whenever they want to show her.
well, I'm like, I'm feeling like, I know I can hear. And I'm like, Kristen, look, I brought you on this tour. You couldn't even hear. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, you had one job. You couldn't even hear it.
It's not easy to do. Walk
So where we are standing right now,
Normally, by the time I show up to you guys, I'm drenched. I know it's terrible. I got rained out the past 2 nights. 2 nights before that, I had like a cooling towel on. Dripping. I learned to wear pants down here because of mosquitoes. So otherwise, I'm literally scratching the whole time. Right here. As a step approach. Sorry, guys, when I designed this, I got ready. I'll make stuff up, and again, if it's light, it's light. Sunday night, I think last Sunday, I lost my voice right in the middle of it. It was so humid.
Oh wow.
Not enough water. I heard that. Unless it was a ghost. You got some sneezing ghosts. You don't have to record in between.
Oh, you don't? Okay, just do it straight.
Yeah, just when we get into the part.
Did you unmute it? You didn't know if I muted it. Look at that street. Cool. That is not a good street for drunk girls with high heels. That's all I can think of.
I don't think any straight is.
Yeah. Intoxicated with high heels on. So bad.
Alright. So. Let's see. So, here's a, I'm going to take these folks and I'm going to teach them the history over there. We're going to be gone about 5 minutes. We're going to hang on to those. And I'm going to give you a disclosure blindfold so you can try to figure out how to open it. So if I can't do it, I'll help you when I get back. These are going to become besties for like 5 minutes. Again, this history is very short. So when we come back, we'll give you a few tips and tricks. We're going to be circled around you just like this. James is going to be filming the entire thing for you because that's going to be the clearest camera stuff also not going to know the history until I give you the data back. So I'm not going to repeat the history of what I'm about to tell them over there. So you're going to have to wait for your family members to tell you if it was a legitimate thing or not. Even though, Bonnie, you're going to be able to hear us, you're not going to know why I'm asking the questions that I'm asking. So you're just going to literally just going to tell us what you see inside the viewfinder. With your spirit box, we're going to get you all set up to, kind of see how this goes. And, make sure you're at a comfortable level because you're not going to be touching the spirit box once you get everything on you. You want to make sure you're not messing with volume. We have had teenagers that try to cheat and turn the volume all the way down and literally ask questions that I'm asking deliberately. So again, I like to make sure people aren't messing with their volume. Yeah, exactly. And I'll say like, hey, what color is a bluebird? And they'll be like, blue. I'm like, what's my name? Nicholas. Like they'll say like crazy things and I'll test them on purpose just to make sure.
We're not done.
I know, but we all want to know. All right, so you guys sit here for 5 and we'll be back. All right, everybody. The rest of you are going to follow me this way. We're all getting tired, guys. Obviously you're going to stay in front and center and film the whole thing for them because they're going to want to know how this actually went down. So you're filming it for both of them. And then everybody else is going to be watching their devices. We have gotten triple digit EMF in these locations. So Chris, on yours too, I want you definitely keeping an eye on it. And as far as the loud spirit box, you're going to keep it on mute so that way I can focus on what's going on with them. All right, so let's kind of go over why we're here. This is a new space. Every year I change this up. I take out one location and add a new one. And it's after Halloween, so I wait till Halloween and I start researching for a new space. First time I came in here, it's November, it's cold. I only had 2 people that night. The young lady using the spirit box heard the name Henry in the year 1828, very specific. So it's kind of like, that's weird. I didn't even know what we were gonna find because there's a million monuments in here. I was using the digital word generator that Grace is using right now, and I had the name Tim that showed up on that. This bust is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I went, holy shit, there's my ghost. So, did a little bit of research, here's how it goes. He was sick through most of his life. Being born in 1828, well, he was a writer too, you need to know that. He was old enough to go fight in the Civil War, so he goes to fight for the Confederates. Once he gets out there, his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home. They told him to go be the voice of the war. So, and they wanted him to go write about what was going on in the battlefield. So he comes home to Charleston, he starts writing poetry. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy because he was telling people what was going on in the battlefield. 3 more years go by, he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, dies 9 months later. Very tragic for him and his wife Katie. 2 more years go by, and his college friend realizes he's not publishing all the poetry that he's assigned to do for the paper he's working for and says, go out to my cottage in the middle of the state in Columbia and finish working what you're supposed to be. He goes out there and writes his last words. His last words were beholder of brief mortality, person of short life. And he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain, and he dies. Here's what I'm going to tell you about that blood stain. It looks like a man writing at his desk. He had tuberculosis, by the way. That was his sickness. So, with that said, they show this book 1 day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society, and you have to be a member to go see it. The internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you all what the page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to Mimi as if she was Henry Timrod. So, kind of get this, we're going to watch this group running a little bit going, but let me show you guys this photograph of the last page that he wrote, and then we're going to go see if we can get some contact with Mr. Timrod. We'll right to left of her. This is the last page. You can see where the blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. Yeah, James, no shit, right? To me, this whole page tells the whole story of his life. So, beholder of brief mortality, and then he coughs and dies of tuberculosis right on the page. So, again, not everybody tells this piece of history, and if they do, they normally tell it at the Charleston Library Society. I'll also tell you that Mr. Timrod is a very shy man. The fact that it's this loud right now, I'm hoping it's going to calm down as I'm giving them their instructions. Because again, he will not give us a whole lot of activity with all of this mess going through us, because we're going to be respectful while we're here. They're not. They're out here on a Saturday night probably all drunk up. The person's like, yeah, I wish I was too. All right, let's go talk to Mimi as if she were Henry Timrod. We're going to go this way. been relevant to the person that I just told you all about. The other, with a 58%, have not been, at least to my knowledge. So again, you may see one image, you might see 7. I have no idea how many you're going to see in a 10-minute period. We're only going to keep you two under for 10 minutes. I'm going to be watching both of your breathing to make sure. I have had to pull people out of this before because it can be very exhilarating. I will also tell you that the 2 jobs that you guys are doing is meant for one person. I separated it because I normally get people that have never done this before. So you're going to be doing, just imagine, like what you would be doing would be also the spirit box, and you would also be watching her visuals. So again, normally this would go all to one person. I'm doing it divvy up this way. It's just so funny that you both are wearing white apron shirts. I swear to God, I did not do this on purpose.
Biker shorts.
Biker shorts. Where are the twins? Who had the word twins? I saw it somewhere. Alright, so once I set up my phone, I'll be sliding it into your viewfinder, and you're going to have a black smoke background body. So you're going to tell us everything that's not black smoke. So in very simple terms, if you see a park with 7 people in it, just tell me you see a park with 7 people in it. And we're going to see, because she's going to be spitting off things, not hearing us. So I want to hear more of her, just a very quick, simple explanation from you. We're all going to be looking at the pictures once we're done. Your spirit box, tell us everything you hear, even yes, no answers. You don't know what I'm asking. I might ask for a ghost if I'm wearing a gray shirt. I'm expecting a yes, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So again, you're going to be telling us everything. If you're too loud, somebody's going to tap you on the shoulder. It's going to be James, because nobody else is going to touch you besides a family member. I might have James move in and tap you on the shoulder if you're too loud. Remember that you need to whisper. If you aren't talking loud enough, he may raise your earmuff and say louder. So that way we can get you raised up a little bit so we can capture it on the camera. When it's time to tap you out, he's going to tap you on the leg. That means we're done. So no matter if it's because of you're hyperventilating or anything like that, or the fact that 10 minutes is up. So again, just keep in mind, tapping the leg is done. This means you need to lower it down a little bit. You're just literally, you're going to be able to hear us, so it's not a big deal. So again,
Is it like pictures, colors, whatever?
You'll see.
Oh, okay.
You'll see. And it's not going to be like 3D in your face.
Well, no, like I tried the Best Buy thing on and the gorilla got me. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not like
Have
that.
you ever done
No.
that?
Yeah, I have.
Like,
It's
oh
not
my
like that
God.
at all.
Okay, I'm
These
not
are
scared.
2D
I'm
images
fine.
inside of a 3D viewfinder.
Okay, I just don't want to.
You're going to be fine. You're not going to be screaming or
I'm
jumping.
not. Yeah, I just don't whisper.
Don't whisper.
No, I want you to talk normal. Most people want to shout when they get the headset on.
Yeah.
All right, so do you have that thing at a comfortable level?
No. Can I put it in?
Yeah, go ahead and put one earbud in. Kind of test your volume for a second because you're going to have both earbuds in.
I want to make sure I can hear you, so I'm not to like.
I'm going to test to make sure you can't hear me. You good? Okay, so take that earbud out. Blindfold on. Then earbuds. I'm gonna probably have James help you out with the headset. So you may have to set your camera down to the side of her because those things can be very tricky when she's blindfolded. Yep.
Okay, can I put them on? 'Cause I'm-
Well, you need the earbuds in first.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So you've used it in air or VR before.
Just that little.
Okay.
I'm not scared. I'm just saying.
Well,
it was
I have to
weird.
give you instructions on how to get it started.
Okay.
So go ahead and put that over your head, and everything's been sanitized, just so you know. So you have a focus point right here in the center. You can feel me tapping right there in the center in case you need to focus it. The phone might be a little quicker. I'll touch my phone, hang on. Slide it over.
Yes.
Better?
Yes.
Okay, so now look down and you're going to see a ready button. Hold it there until it clicks all the way around the circle. 10:55. So now you have 3 circles on the bottom.
Oh, where? I see clouds.
Okay, so look to the bottom. You should have 3 circles. You need the one on the left. It'll say seer.
One says stimuli.
No, you're already in there. So go ahead and look up. Okay, so now you're ready to go. So you're up in here.
When do I start?
Go ahead and start.
And we just sit here and not get up.
Yep, don't get up.
Should I look around?
Henry Timrod, I need you to push through and tell us your occupation, please. You know how this works. We're being respectful and quiet, even though the groups around us are not. Please tell us what your occupation is.
That was today. Belong with me?
Henry, push through and tell us your occupation.
Not for me.
Henry, I know it's a busy Saturday, but I need you to push through. I got 11 folks here that want to learn more about you. James, are you recording? Yeah, okay. wife, or do you want to talk about your son? Is Henry Timrod even here? That's a yes/no answer.
No,
Who do we have here?
I don't know.
Oh, you know who you are, and I think I know who you are too. But you need to tell me your occupation.
Complex.
You got an image?
Earlier today.
Who do we have here with us? Give us your first name, please.
Spectrum.com.
Who do we have here with us? You can tell us your name or your occupation. I'll take either one.
Or if you run away.
Can you tell us what sound we're hearing from the church? What sound is that? What sound did we just hear from the church?
Anybody? More drama? Faces loaded. Strong woman?
Who do we have here? Bonnie, no images?
Contracting?
Bonnie, do yourself a favor and look down.
Get my party on.
Just go back. I want to make sure we're set.
Okay. You're just like cloud.
Yeah, and it should be just clouds. Now look down again, you should have 3 circles.
Okay.
Look to the left for seal.
This hour?
Who do we have here with us?
Stop, Grace.
Is Dr. Ladd here with us? That's a yes or no.
Improving.
I'm looking for Dr. Ladd. Is he here with us? No, you look for stimuli.
No, that's what popped up.
Okay, so look down for the stimuli until you find that black smoke again. I don't like those flashing lights on.
Drama in the election cycle. 10,000.
That's what popped up.
Okay.
Offering. Will be offering.
Bonnie, you reset that, right? Like you went
Yeah,
back.
it's back.
Proud.
It still has like the lines, even after the words are away.
Let's try to get Henry back. Henry, we're running out of time. We're down to 3 minutes left. And we don't have any answers from either you or Dr. Ladd. I need to know who's here. And if this is too loud for you around here,
Feel like you're
is this too much for you tonight? It's a yes/no answer. We're going to cut it short if you're not going to give us any answers. We don't have any images from you either. Okay.
To the right.
It's pretty fair to say we need to tap her out. What do you guys think? Not getting a whole lot out of this. I'm going to go ahead and tap the light for me. Bonnie, go ahead and take off your headset. Cat. Alright, so I would deem this completely unsuccessful. I had one answer that was a possibility, but that was also a yes-no answer, so I'm not going to really kind of go into that. This is a picture that you saw, everybody, so you guys have an idea. It's literally a cat face. That means absolutely nothing to me, Henry Timrod, or Dr. Ladd. So you're probably wondering why I was asking about Dr. Ladd here. The home that we talked about back at the alley, 59 Church Street, is literally 0.3 miles this way. So we've been noticing that Dr. Ladd's been slipping through from time to time, and he'll give us things about the house, things about his sister Elizabeth, because she was a big part of his life. So every once in a while we see him kind of slip through, which is why I was asking questions about Dr. Ladd. I don't know if either one of them had a cat, especially that particular color. So again, that cat kind of looks like, what the hell are y'all doing out there, right? Obviously this picture won't be in your guys' data set, but I would deem this completely unsuccessful. Again, I know that's disappointing, but I can't make the ghost do anything. And as I've already told the rest of these folks, the person we are looking for does not like crowds or noise. So normally on right, it's been non-stop in here, so I really didn't know how this was going to go. I started with the questions I normally do, and to kind of get them provoked a little bit, we got absolutely nothing. So, unfortunately. So do we get any words on there, Grace, that I need to know about besides your name that popped up? You know, through the Estes method?
Frigid, warm, tight.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing, right? All right, so this is where I start collecting devices. Did we get any EMF readings at all?
Zero.
Chris, anything on yours? Where are we at? Over here?
Right.
Oh, okay. We'll take an 11. That's something going on. Again, we've seen up to 167 here. So, again, kind of a light reading, but we'll still take an 11 for sure. Again, with this being completely unsuccessful, I'd like to grab something out of this location. All right, so as I collect your guys' devices, I'm going to take my digital